Vaccinating your children is a big decision, and I can understand how it can be scary to think about having to put your child through getting shots and dealing with needles and diseases, but I assure you that it is safe, and it is a safe decision that will protect your child for a very long time. It is vitally important for the health of all children for parents to get their children vaccinated because they are safe, they work effectively, and they build up your child's immune system. So some of the points that I'm going to cover today include that vaccines work effectively to decrease the severity or even prevent a child from getting a disease. Second, vaccines are necessary in order to build and maintain your immune system. And probably the most important point, vaccines are safe for use. I previously had to write a paper for another class, and I did a lot of research on vaccines, specifically for children, and I had to dispel myths about vaccines and different worries that parents might have. So I had a little bit of experience with researching scientific articles and different data, and so I got to dive even further into that for this assignment and talk about why you should vaccinate your children. So first off, vaccines are extremely effective at preventing disease, and even if you do end up catching the disease, you may end up with some symptoms, but it'll definitely make sure that you can manage the disease and it won't be as deadly as it would if you hadn't had the vaccine. One of the most prominent uses of vaccines comes from when we were able to eradicate smallpox. We were able to eradicate an entire deadly disease from the earth in 1980 just by the use of vaccines. According to the website healthychildren.org, which is monitored and edited by doctors, most of the vaccines that your child will get are 90 to 99% effective in preventing the disease. Sometimes the child may have minor symptoms or side effects, but they're harmless. And while you may be thinking that the chances that your child will end up with one of these incredibly deadly diseases is slim to none, and this is probably true, you would not want them to not have that protection just on the small chance that they do end up with that disease. The CDC website states it pretty well, and they state, you always make sure to buckle your child in their car seat even though you don't expect to be in an accident. In the end, you don't want your child to not have that protection, that lifesaver, just in case they do need it. Now that you know a little bit about how the vaccines work and that they work well to prevent diseases, let's look at how it boosts your child's immune system. Vaccines are important in building and maintaining your child's immune system. Babies are born with a compromised immune system, and they don't have the ability to fight off these deadly diseases the way that adults would. They have a little bit of protection from the womb and from their mother's milk, but it's just not enough. So vaccines work by injecting antigens, which are considered part of the disease or germ that actually causes your immune system to mount a response against that antigen. And then your body will remember that it fought against that antigen and know what to do if your child were to ever come in contact with that antigen or disease again. Now that you know a bit how vaccines work and why they are necessary, I want to cover probably the biggest worry when it comes to vaccinating your children. Probably the most major concern that parents have with getting their children vaccinated is whether or not they're safe. Some people think that vaccines contain ingredients that aren't safe and can have harmful effects. This is not true. Aluminum is one that is found in most vaccines that some people might think are toxic, but it's not. Aluminum salts are used in vaccines in order to boost the immune response. And according to a 2019 scientific article by Frank DiStefano, Principal Controversies in Vaccine Safety in the United States, aluminum serum levels were well below the toxic range for the human body. And it was even found that higher amounts of injectable aluminum adjuvants correlated with a lower incidence of autoimmune disease. Therefore, aluminum is safe and can actually be beneficial. Following the belief that some ingredients are harmful, some people believe that vaccines can cause autism. This is also not true. There is no link between vaccines and autism. I read the original article that sparked all of this debate about not vaccinating your children, and the funny thing is the article has nothing to do with vaccines or autism. It's an article about gastrointestinal disease and its possible link to developmental disorders. So it's kind of a jump that they got from that. But According to a 2013 CDC study, increasing exposure to antibody-stimulating proteins and polysaccharides in vaccines is not associated with risk of autism, written by Frank DiStefano, evaluated the number of antigens in the body from the first 2 years of life. And the results revealed that children with autism and children without autism showed the same number of antigens to different diseases. And this means that there is no link between having autism and getting your vaccines as a child. I know that the biggest concern is making sure that your child is safe, and vaccinating them is just one small way that we can do that. So in the end, it is vitally important for the health of your child and all children for parents to get their kids vaccinated because they are safe, they work effectively, and they do build your child's immune system. So in summary, vaccines work effectively to decrease the chance of getting a disease. Second, vaccines are necessary in order to build your child's immune system. And last, vaccines are safe for use. Science truly is the foundation of understanding vaccines, and when you look at all the science that supports the use of vaccinating children, it is important to listen to what science is telling you. I implore you to please vaccinate your children. It is not too late to start getting vaccinated. And just to end real quick, I have a little cartoon, and it is just a cartoon of an anti-vaxxer, and she's going around snipping all of the vaccines and trying to let out the bad disease. So please, vaccinate your children.